like a drum. You listen to my lies. Love is far to come. Your love is far. Running at the speed of light, kissing under city lights. Calls me in this morning time, but it just goes on. Running at the speed of light, kissing under city lights. Calls me in this morning time, but it just goes on. Can I get up again?
Hello, hello, welcome. I'm Brandon Blitz, I'm a variety streamer. I stream there we go. Stream lots of video games, I draw art as you can see here. And I do also programming as well. And like I said, I think it was last stream. I recently started learning 3D modeling, but I want to actually get used to the UI first before I just dive deep and start streaming it. That being said, welcome. Where the fuck is my phone at? Hold on. Found my phone. Ah, there we go. All right. My leg's itching. Ah, fuck. Alright. Alrighty. I can real quick before I get started, let me put on my art sleep and get my tablet pen out. There we go. Yeah, I keep forgetting whenever we're doing ice stream. I keep forgetting. Oh, I need my art slate and my tablet pen. I keep forgetting that. Furthermore, let me load up the stream right here. Oh, come on. Alright, gonna right. Come on. Seriously? Okay, does it just not allow me to... Okay, I just go to kick this one. Aye. Not Twitch, you dumbass. Alright. Sorry, my phone's being stupid. Have a better idea. This phone just fucking listens to me in the fucking first place. Ah, thank you. The fuck? Okay, let me view. Please. Thank you. Please load. Load. I'm not sure if it's actually working on. Can this phone? Fuck off, you piece of fucking shit, motherfucker! Can't. Motherfucker, fuck you! Oh, I just view the kick stream on my phone. Please and thank you. I fucking hate this phone. No wonder why I switched to Apple. And you're in their fucking ads. I already reset this phone. I already reset it at the time I bought it. And it's still showing fucking ads. I wonder. Does it work? Does the messaging work on here? Or do I have to just... Okay, so... I have no idea if the actual stream is working on Fansly. Well, let me do... So it is working. It is working, yes. So it is working. It is. Alright, yeah, it is working on there, so it just doesn't show up on my phone for some reason. Or maybe I can do... Yeah, I have no idea if it works or not. So I'm going to Twitch and view this stream on Twitch. Sorry for taking a moment. So apparently, uh, oh fuck, forgot. My phone's not on the Wi-Fi. So I set a reminder on my phone that says I activated lockdown mode on my main phone, and I keep forgetting that it just doesn't auto connect to Wi-Fi on the lockdown mode. Yeah, bear in mind, I'm sorry I'm taking a bit long to sorry to set up the stream. So yeah, I just quickly looked and stream is working on yeah, streamers working on joystick and blue heart. Alright, yeah, both of them are working. From that. Alright. Alright, as long as both of them are working here, that's fine by me. Alright. Sorry taking so long, and sorry about that. Just making sure everything is working. Alright, now I can get started. File. Open. Okay. Alright, there we go. There we go. We were doing shadows. We were mainly doing the shadows on there. I mean, Alright, I'm just making sure all the streams are working. All the streams are working. So, I have two streams running on two separate two separate phones, and two streams running on my PC. Here we go. Wait a minute. I should verify something. That's... Oh boy. Is this supposed to be gray? Yeah, I think... What's going on with the... I have no idea what's going on with the Omnitrix design here. Okay, let's make up a bit of a lore. The Omnitrix, for its Omni, what is it? Omni Energy or Omnicore Energy, whatnot, onto the sleeve here. I don't know. Maybe I want to turn it to gray. As I realized that this may supposed to be gray, matching the actual. If I do that, then honestly, I'm gonna leave it as is and just pretend it's part of the Omnitrix design here. The witch tricks. Alright. Yeah, and I ended up like I was working on the hand here and then yeah. Okay. Let me do some of the shading on the head actually. Alright. I was in the middle of watching this, so
folder, a default path on every Windows computer. But the only real reason Microsoft would start putting OneDrive folders on people's computers is to get them to buy OneDrive. And then there's also the pop-ups you occasionally get if you're using Google Chrome to try Microsoft Edge. Again, Microsoft, if I wanted to use Microsoft Edge, I would use it. In fact, I do sometimes use it because I have multiple YouTube channels, and it's just easier to be logged in on a different browser. So I would appreciate you to stop telling me to use Microsoft Edge. When I pay for an operating system, I don't want ads in my operating system, especially for software that I am already using. I think Microsoft implementing ads into Windows is one of the worst things they ever did to Windows. Like, you pay for this software to be on your local computer, and they had the audacity to put ads in it. And also stupid search features when you click the start menu. Like, why is this here? Why is this a thing when I click the start menu? I don't care about any of this. Why? At best, this kind of stuff is annoying. And at worst, it's the thing crashing my Windows UI. Like, clicking this search button freezes up Windows way more than it should. It just shouldn't be doing that. It's a premium operating system that costs money. And it's not like I have real hardware, okay? I'm not running an Intel Pentium. It is just ridiculous.
I need to recalibrate my...
Windows has gotten over the last couple years. Like, Windows 7 truly was the last good Windows software. Windows 8 was like a test of what they wanted Windows to be, which was horrific. Windows 8 sucked, okay? Windows 8 was everything I'm complaining about and then some. Windows 8 was horrid. But Windows 11 is never software that I would choose to use. Like, if I could just use a version of Windows 7 that was up to date and compatible with all current software, I would use that instantly. I'd pay $300 for that. If I could get rid of all the dumb bloatware that Windows has been installing over the years, I would do it in a heartbeat. All this stuff.
So I don't know what Windows is doing to my my tablet, but I'm going to have to recalibrate it again. Alright, there we go. Hopefully it's fully calibrated now. Alright.
It's just annoying.
Oh yeah, chat, tell me if you want to make a recalibrated witch tricks and make an older version of Gen 10.
To me. And even if you do use like OneDrive, for example, I'm sure you also agree that OneDrive shouldn't be this default thing on like every Windows computer. Like it is so obvious that they're trying to get you to use it and then ransom your data back when you run out of storage space. Like, oopsie, looks like you need to pay for the full terabyte package because you're out of space. Windows 11 also basically forces you to always be online. Like for some reason you can't create a local account anymore. You have to use a Microsoft account, which is really annoying. I think there's some kind of workaround to still get a local account on Windows 11, but I think it's just really obtuse and hard to deal with. Like, it should just be a button that says make offline account because you paid for the software. Why do you need a Microsoft account to use software that you paid for? That's ridiculous. There's also the introduction of Microsoft Copilot, that spyware that Windows tried to disguise as an AI service. This thing would take screenshots of your desktop periodically throughout the day without telling you in an unencrypted folder. So if someone ever wanted to see everything you did during the day, they would just hate to go to your computer and find this folder. It was actually insane that Microsoft announced this product like it was finished. Because not only could anyone on the PC access that folder, if somebody hacked your computer, they could just get that folder relatively easily. It wasn't secured at all. It was just all of your personal
It should be made illegal to advertise a product as a finished product when it's actually in beta.
information in one convenient little folder on your computer. I think Microsoft has improved the Copilot a lot in that regard, but I still wouldn't trust it. Like, their initial rollout had like no security concern at all. I would not trust them to implement any kind of security protocol in the future. Like, seriously, that was ridiculous. But with all that being said, the single biggest reason people are not switching to Windows 11 versus Windows 10 is probably that they can't. You see, with Windows 11, Microsoft made this chip a requirement, a TPM 2.0. From what I read, this is called a trusted platform module. And what this does is help secure you from like ransomware attacks and malware and other things like that. And TPM 2.0 might genuinely be important. I actually don't know how good or bad this thing is. And most computers do not have this TPM module. It is a newer thing. So lots of people are not going to be upgrading to Windows 11 purely because they can't upgrade. They do not have this required module, which could be a problem because security updates are ending for Windows 10 very soon. But this chip requirement is definitely a huge reason as to why people aren't upgrading. They simply can't. And one of the most annoying parts about Microsoft slowly dismantling their own operating system from within is the fact that if the antitrust laws in America were actually enforced, a lot of this stuff just wouldn't be legal. Like, most of the annoying things Windows 11 does are things that Microsoft already got in trouble for in like the early 2000s, late 90s. Like, the whole Microsoft Edge being your default browser and giving you annoying pop-ups thing was something they already argued in court and lost with Internet Explorer. So what they're doing literally has already been proven to not be legal. So it'd be really cool if they would stop just doing stuff like that and making their products worse, but they won't stop until the government tells them to. And with this current administration, that's probably not going to happen. And at the end of the day, Microsoft truly does need some like real competition. And I'm not just talking about like Apple with Mac OS. I think Mac OS is cool if you use it, but I don't think people are switching a lot from like Mac OS to Windows and vice versa. I feel like these two companies kind of have duopoly on the market, and Linux really isn't even a player. But it would be cool to see some real competition for operating systems, because at the end of the day, I wouldn't be buying or using Windows if there was a better option that was similar to Windows. Like, give me Windows 7, but modern, and you have my money. But we're not gonna get that because the world doesn't like nice things. Anyways, that has been the video. Let me know in the comments down below. Like and subscribe if you're new. Click the answer down, check out more of my content, and have a good one.
Yep, that's a unfortunate case. Alright, come on.
We did it. We made it. We survived the rapture.
Alright, there we go. And and alright, let's see. Oh, Nightcrack and a half. Oh, fine. There we go.
We did it. We made it. We survived the rapture. Today, it was prophesized by one guy and latched onto by a lot of TikTok that a lot of people were going to be raptured today. Basically, if you don't know what the rapture is, it's everyone getting pulled by the server admin. So Jesus taking all of the believers and getting them off of the doomed planet. This has to be one of the most common predictions throughout all of human history. This is more often prophesized than people speculating Bloodborne 2 is going to get announced anytime there's any video game related news. And every single time, just like Bloodborne 2, it is wrong. And every time, there's somehow a ton of hype people biting onto the teat of hype, like, no, this time it's real, all of the signs indicate, you know, the red heifer also, I saw my grandfather, he missed a step on the way down the stairs and he broke his fucking tibia. All of this is part of the prophecy. All of it lines up perfectly. This is the real rapture this time around.
Rapture my ass.
It's not. And today, this one had a lot of hype. Apparently, a lot of people were selling their belongings, getting ready to leave everything behind here. And it looks like, if you can believe it, that's not happening. And that's because no one would ever be able to predict the rapture. It is literally written in the Bible that no man would be able to predict when Jesus would be coming back. Yet, for some reason, people still take just Goober's word that this is the real rapture, and they end up, like, ruining their life preparing for it. It's craziness to me. But maybe I'm counting my chickens before they hatch. Maybe there's just, like, a latency issue, like it's a ping problem. He's lagging, so he's just a bit behind. So rapture might be, you know, postponed till later today. You know, maybe that's possible. But it looks like it's not happening. Pre-rapture stream. So what is this hoopla about a rapture? I feel like I hear this maybe once every couple of years, where there's like a big movement about like the rapture is coming on this day, and then that day comes and it never happens, and then people just pretend they weren't going around talking about the rapture. So what's this one about? Oh, here we go. This is perfect for rapture. He had a vision in which he was called into heaven and Jesus told him he was returning on September 23rd and 24th. Offered no biblical citations or theological arguments, just the date. Really? It all comes from that? One guy said so?
Alright.
Cool. Yeah, I had this dream. Said the rapture was like September 23rd or something. It's pretty cool. Jesus was kind of chill. We played like Smash Brothers Melee. Dude was a Luigi main. It was fucking sick. But yeah, he said he's coming to Earth again on like the 23rd. What's crazy is when it doesn't happen, people will still trust.
Did Shrink go offline for a sec?
No, I mean, that's not surprising. I still remember the biggest, most notable rapture scare back when I was in high school. There was this big movement about the rapture. It was so big, in fact, people were quitting their jobs in order to take their family on like one big, like, last 𝙂𝙗. And then when it didn't happen, it was apparently started by a radio host who just said the rapture's coming, and then everyone just believed it. So they quit their jobs and shit. And when it didn't happen, if I remember right, the radio host just like took his show off the air, and then that was that. People never got their jobs back. I actually wonder what happened with that. I think it was 2013.
Imagine that.
Harold Camping. He was an American radio host, and it was on 2011. May 21st, 2011. He made the prediction that it would happen on October 21st, 2011. Followers of Camping claimed that around 200 million people would be raptured It has also been reported that a 14-year-old Russian girl named Nastasia Zakhanova committed suicide over his prediction. Yikes. What the fuck? Oh, I didn't remember that. Yo, boy.
Yikes.
On May 23rd, 2011, in an appearance before Congress, Camping stated he had reinterpreted his prophecy. In his revised claim, May 21st was a spiritual judgment day and the physical rapture would occur on October 21st, 2011. Oh, so he did predict on May 21st would be the first. Like, that was the rapture. It didn't happen, so then he pushed it back to October. He's like, okay, I was wrong about this. I misunderstood. It's October 21st for sure. And I bet he went home and was trying to, like, bribe Jesus. Like, come on, Jesus. Don't make me look like an idiot. Simultaneously with the destruction of the world, Camping said his company would not return money donated by followers to publicize the failed May 21st prediction, stating, "We're not at the end, why would we return it?" Wow. What a
Wow.
guy.
Wow.
What a guy. In October 2011, News 24 reported the size of his congregation dwindled to about 25 adults on any typical Sunday. They largely avoided the social media in the months following May. Remained in seclusion after October 21st had passed without his predictions coming true. Nice. Oh, in 2012, though, he admitted his predictions were in error. We humbly acknowledge we were wrong about the timing. And also announced the end of doomsday predictions.
The rapture is upon us. Whether you are ready or not. Yeah. Today, what people will hear is God revealing his
Don't rapture his ass.
To the people of the world. Yeah. God took me to see the future and then he brought me back.
But why? Why would he do that? This is the one thing that I always find to be so blasphemous. When people make a
Like
claim
Blasphemous
like that,
HD.
To me that just feels like someone that's using Christianity for their own exploitative purposes. I can't stand when
Exactly.
people do that. Like, I know it gets made of like a mockery and stuff, but I just find it to just be so in poor taste to use religion like that. It is just like, and anyone who's like a follower of him should immediately call that out as just blasphemous. I don't know how they get away with it so frequently.
I could tell you how.
In a throne
Because they don't. Nobody actually reads the Bible.
room, I see Jesus
Oh, of course they
sitting
poop
on
hawks.
his throne, and I could hear him very loud and clear. I am coming soon.
Hey, yo.
People who are listening, please pay attention to what I'm going to say. He says to me, on the 23rd and the 24th, 2025, I will come to take my church.
There's a date.
There is a date.
Are there other people
Wow.
who have also said the same thing to confirm what you have said?
No. No, Jesus took him. He's very special. That's the chosen one right there. For no one shall know the day except for the Father. It's like, have they not read it at all? True. And that was a point a lot of people made when Harold Camping made the same prediction back in 2011. It lines up with a big prophecy also. And that happens every time. It's like people forgot this is not the first rapture prediction even in the last 8 months. I remember we did this like 8 months ago where like everyone was kind of freaking out on Reddit about like the end times are here, the red heifer has arrived as prophesized in the Bible.
Bruh.
And then it turns out red heifer, like that is just a very common thing. So there's always going to be coincidences. Always. It doesn't indicate the end times, and it certainly doesn't indicate that just a random pastor got pulled up by Jesus, like had his spirit yanked out of his body, like fucking Doctor Strange pushed it out of him, just to inform him that he is coming to rapture on September 23rd. These are only like the big notable ones. So here's the Harold Camping. I don't know the Ronald Weinland one. Man, 2011 was a big year for the rapture. He did the same thing. Failed to come true, so he moved it to the 27th of May, 2012. And then he moved it to 2013, claiming that a day with God is as a year, giving himself another year. He was then convicted of tax evasion in 2012 and sentenced to 3.5 years in prison. I can't believe it.
Ooh.
This guy's made a whole career out of it, apparently. Predicting the rapture. Oh, this guy has an entire thing known as the Blood Moon Prophecy. Oh my. For his prediction in 2012 or 2015 Rapture. Ronald came back in 2019, fresh off of his stint in prison, saying that he would return in 2019 with the Rapture. Huge. Ronald still on the grind. This was a psychic claimed that Armageddon would take place in 2020 and Jesus would return to defeat the unholy trinity of Antichrist, Satan, and false prophet between 2020 and 2037. It's a pretty big range. Chad and Lori Daybell, a couple charged with multiple murder, including those of Lori's children, believed that the second coming would be July 22nd, 2020. Seems like a reliable narrator to tune into for the good word. Oh, it's Silent Hill time, and it looks like the Rapture hasn't begun. We can enjoy some Silent Hill. We did it. We made it. I say that, and then all of a sudden, like, the viewer number just collapses as everyone just gets yanked off the planet. We fucking did it, Reddit. Let's go. Before ending the video, there's just one other thing I want to mention when it comes to these predictions. I just don't understand it. Because pastors like this guy 100% have to know that they're pulling it out of their ass. Like, even if you had a dream about it, like, you'd have to realize that that's not the most, like, concrete. You'd have to realize there's an extremely good chance it's not going to happen. So what is the plan when it doesn't? Like, do you just, like, hope people don't care? It's like, oh, he was wrong. Doesn't matter. He's still a very, like, super reliable pastor. The Lord definitely speaks through him, even though he got the Rapture completely wrong. Maybe he was just playing a prank on him. Like, I just don't get it. Because you have to know it is most likely not going to happen. You're just spitballing nonsense. I really don't get it. And I even less understand people that believe it. I really don't. Because if you are a follower of the Word of God, you would have to realize that no man would ever be able to predict when the rapture would happen. It is literally written in the Bible. So what you are saying is a pastor like this is somehow more powerful than the Word of God, that he is able to somehow predict it because Jesus for some reason chose him because he had a really high KD in Fortnite or whatever. It just doesn't add up. And I'm getting really fucking tired of all of these rapture predictions. I really am. It is so tiresome. This one actually kind of like irked me quite a bit because it's just so ridiculous. This one has even less to go on than the previous rapture predictions. Anyway, though, I'll stop yapping about it. That's really about it. See ya.
Go first. Yeah, go first.
Signs you're getting old. Okay.
Hold on real quick. Oh, just my hair. Alright, yeah.
We're all not really old yet, but I guess signs you're getting older. And before we get started, I just wanted to make a disclaimer. This video is just jokes, bro. Do not take it super seriously. Back pain. Okay, this is the first telling sign that you are getting older. The moment I started working out and making videos all day, I started to have a little bit of back pain. And it's not the worst back pain in the world. It's probably because I don't really stretch as much as I should, and I'm holding that garbage-ass posture in my chair for too long. This happened for me super early. Like, I'm not even kidding. This happened to me literally the moment I turned 18. I started getting back pain. Probably because when I was living at college, I was sleeping on, I don't even know what the hell I was sleeping on, bro. That shit was a sad excuse of a mattress. And every morning I would wake up with back pain. And now the only time I really get back pain is when I have a shitty ass posture for too long, where I'm holding like this weird ass pose in my chair, sitting down recording this. Or if I hit a mean back workout at the gym, I am going to be sore as shit the next day. And for me, it's a nice warm welcome to adulthood. Like, hey, by the way, when you're like 80 years old, this is gonna be 10 times worse. And my back is already preparing. It's just like easing me into the experience as an 80-year-old. Number 2, you just stare out the window and just reflect on life. Sometimes I really am doing this. Like, I do this quite often, actually. So yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I am definitely getting up there. But it's crazy that now I'm enjoying like these old head-ass activities, like looking out in the window and just thinking, pondering on philosophical concepts. Okay, never mind. There is nothing going on in my brain. There's not even a single concept being thought of. I'm just sitting here staring at it. But yeah, we've all seen either an older relative of ours or any old person literally just spawn by the window at random times, just looking out in the distance and nature. And I can't even handle it. That's kind of fire. And now that I'm thinking that, I got the mindset that
hold on. That took me out. Seeing the relatives just spawn by the window. Shit. That took me out. That took me the fuck out. Alright.
damn, looking into nature's kind of fire. That makes me feel old. And sometimes when I just walk around in the neighborhood, some of my older neighbors will just be looking out the window, so I'll just wave at them. And just because I'm doing this, I genuinely feel like my days are numbered when I'm approaching ung status. It's coming very soon. Okay, so next has got to be...
I know what else is coming very soon. Ayo.
At least for me, when I was growing up, my family didn't really tell me anything about it, or maybe I just wasn't listening, I don't know. But basically, you get to find out so much about your family that you never even knew before. Sometimes you can discover people you had no idea even existed. And every family has got to have that old photo book with everyone's pictures in it. Balding or receding hairline. As dudes get older, they grow more hair in other places. So for whatever reason, some dudes will lose a ton of hair on the top of their head, and that hair will grow a lot more in other places. And when this starts to happen, this is every dude's biggest fear. Because once it starts, it's not stopping. Well, unless you use proper treatments and shit. It's not stopping. Your hairline will slowly, as the years go by, just creep back. Some people only get the hairline receding, but some people go as far as stage 7 on this balding scale. And a lot of my deals with hair loss. So when do I accept my fate? Now? Later? My genetics are definitely not helping me out, but I need to start taking care of my hair before that shit happens. I noticed the corners of my hairline thinned a little bit, but that's really it. I haven't noticed any balding or anything like that, so I think
I've been taking care of my hair.
For right now. And once you get all the way to stage 7, you already look like somebody's uncle. Unless you muster up the courage, take that trip to Turkey, and get that hair transplant special, but sometimes not even that works. I've heard people say the Turkey surgery, sometimes that doesn't even prevent hair loss. And, you know, of course, due to my genetics, shit, I'm a little bit scared, bro. I'm not gonna lie. But some people with this get very lucky in their...
The only hair transplant you're getting in Turkey is actually turkey feathers. Sorry.
Born with terrible hair genetics. Now that I'm thinking about it, mine might not be so bad. And they will start balding as a teen or a young adult, which is way worse than just losing it naturally in your 40s or something. Sign number 4, you get tired really easily, like you're dozing off midday. Every person that you know in your life that
I experienced that.
Take a nap midday. I'm already taking midday naps, so sign me up. Every time I go
midday
with
naps.
My friends, I'm sleeping. Every time I'm
hold on.
With my friends, I'm sleeping. Or even if I'm just sitting down.
You know who's to blame for that? You know who's to blame for that? Don't blame your genetics. Blame that daycare, or blame that that one babysitter who made you take a midday nap so they don't have to babysit you.
Down on the couch during the day, I'm falling asleep. Or even at my goddamn chair, probably as I'm editing this video. I won't be surprised if my head hits the desk. Now, as a youthful person, you're usually really energetic and can do things with ease without getting tired. But once you get older, yeah, all that shit goes out the window. Midday naps are gonna become a staple of the routine unless you just chug a shit ton of caffeine.
Shit ton of caffeine. Oh no. Here's the thing, I can't deal with caffeine. Mostly because of heart issues. I could do like maybe a cup of coffee, maybe once in a while. But even then, it's heart issues combined with ADHD. And yeah, I'm face planting the ground in 0.0002 seconds.
But some people just got midday naps. And it might just be because my sleep schedule is absolutely atrocious. It's like as soon as I sit down, melatonin just starts being produced in my body, and it's like be the middle of the day. It doesn't even really have to be dark out, to be totally honest. Number 5, you start to forget why you did something, or just things in general. Now, I don't know if it's because I'm getting older or if my attention span is just absolute dog shit, but sometimes
both.
I just find myself forgetting what I was gonna do. If I walk into a room, for example, sometimes I genuinely don't remember why I was going in that room.
Because of my ADHD, I have that issue my entire life. Not even as a toddler, not a toddler. Even as like even when I was like around 10 years old, I had that issue.
Obviously, if I go into the bathroom, I'm there to take a piss, right? But sometimes I could go in the kitchen and forget why I'm there. Now, sign number 6, your eyes get worse. Now, some people just have naturally bad eyesight. They just
Like
get
me.
nerfed right at birth and need glasses right away. But it's also a sign of you getting older, too. Once you start getting older, you pretty much start losing a lot of your senses, to be honest. Like, your hearing gets worse as well. Like, I already noticed my...
Here's the thing with me. My eyesight was nerfed as a kid. I had to start wearing glasses when I was 11 years old.
Hearing is definitely not as good as it was when I was younger. I got my computer volume way higher than it used to be. So I don't know, man. Maybe it's time for me to hang up the hat. Maybe I'm Gramps now, and it's time for me to get a bed in a senior citizen home. And sometimes when somebody says something to me, I'm like, huh? What? Who? Yeah, bro, I can't believe
Oh no!
that early. That might be a bit alarming. I'm probably listening to my music way too loud. And yeah, bro, my eye exam, let's just say that didn't really go too well. My eyes are getting worse already. Sign number 7. Professional athletes are the same age or younger than you. I can't believe my lazy ass is over here just sitting down in a goddamn desk chair, and there's rookies that are the same age as me that are already prodigies. And then some rookies are even as young as like 18, which is crazy. Pretty soon there's gonna be people younger than me in the NBA. I'm gonna be sitting my ass on the couch watching some NBA game, eating a bag of chips. I'm gonna be sitting there feeling like a tub of lard with my bag of chips. And you know what? That is great for them that they're doing what they're doing. It's not that I'm not happy for them. It's just I feel mad guilty because I feel like I'm behind. I don't know if any of you can relate to that, but yeah, that's genuinely how I feel sometimes. It's crazy seeing all these young prodigies in professional sports, bro. It's wild. Sign number 8. You sit down and hit one of these sighs of relief. Everyone does it after a long day. Or, well, not everybody, okay? Every unk does it after a long day. Long day of work, you're like, holy shit, dude, finally I can fucking...
Even as a child, I did that.
I'm sitting down all damn day, bro. The only time I really do this is when I hit a mean-ass workout. I come home the moment my ass hits the couch. I either go like, oh, holy shit, or I hit a, ooh. It should not take that much energy out of me, bro. I don't know why it does. The point where I gotta hit a sigh of relief when I sit down. Or sometimes after a long night out, I'm tired as hell, I'm finally home. The moment my ass hits that bed, I'm going to sleep, bro. I don't care. And it's so random because sometimes I am really tired, and sometimes I have even more energy when I get back. I'm kind of at a standstill with this one. I guess it really depends on the day. Sign number 9. You start to not understand memes. Guys, it's over for me.
It's over. It's over.
Comment saying like doing X in 2025 is crazy. And you know what? Maybe...
Yeah, I don't understand that one, but I understand them. Dancing rat meme.
I'm a little bit behind. It is what it is, bro. I'm getting to that age where I'm not even gonna understand memes anymore. Or, well, it's not that bad. It's just meme culture is becoming harder for me to understand. And of course, since we're in the big 25 or whatever everyone says, we are getting a new meme pretty much every other week. Sometimes it's impossible to keep track of all of them. But if you're completely out of the loop and you have no idea about anything, you're definitely getting to that point. And you know what? I might be right there with you.
Honestly, it's...
all these abbreviations are throwing me off, bro. Even though everybody's got a phone at this point. I mean, shit, bro. I'm on the damn phone all the time.
You know, yeah, I'm getting into that age as well. And honestly, the fact that memes are new memes are coming out every single week. At some point, you just don't care anymore. Just do your own thing.
But still, I genuinely feel like I'm out of the loop and I'm living under a rock. I'm always like 2 weeks late to shit. I'm so behind, bro, because what the hell is 𝙂𝙬𝙖𝙀? I guess it's this clip of SpongeBob turning into mini SpongeBobs. I don't know, man. I'm just lost, especially with the meme rush of September or whatever the hell people are calling it. Like, there's no way I could be unemployed enough to keep up with all that. But literally every other meme, it's like I have no clue about it for weeks. But then I just magically find out about it a month later. And by time, that's not the humor anymore. You just look like an old head, bro. You look like you are not with the times. You feel like time is moving faster. 2024 genuinely felt like a 6-month filler episode. And I feel like we haven't even been in 2025 for a month yet. And I feel like it's just gonna get worse as I get older. Like, if it's already moving fast now, but by the time I'm in my 30s, 40s, 50s, dude, a decade's gonna feel like nothing. And a lot of people that are older that I talk to, it's crazy because they always talk about how fast life flies by. And when I was younger, it didn't feel like that at all. It felt like life was moving so slow. It was ridiculous. A whole school year felt like a millennium. But I feel like as I got older, this is something I finally realized was kind of true. It's crazy how fast things come and go now. It's ridiculous. Now, a lot of Gen Z, me included, is basically at their rookie
It's crazy how fast I come and go too. Hey, yo, what? Who said that?
stages of adulthood. So watch this video about adulthood in Gen Z. Just click on it.
Alright.
Now, which console should I destroy today? Yeah, no, better not. Oh, yeah, it's already destroyed. I know. This obviously planted Xbox. The Xbox was well known as being
This
the
obviously
most
planted
heaviest, most
Xbox.
power-hungry console anybody had ever seen. So, what better console to make into a handheld? But judging by somebody not being
crack.
bothered to put the screws back in and putting an error message on the top in my handwriting, I think we're going to be giving this thing some love before we give it some portability.
Is it an error or an error?
Suppose we'll see if it turns on first. If it's going to do what I think it's going to do, then at least it'll power up. And this X up here means it's got a mod of some kind, which should make part of this a bit easier. Oh, there we go. Okay, we've got service required. Call customer support. I don't think that's going to help. We've got this 07 up in the top left, though. That's our error code. That means the hard drive timed out. If that's the only thing that's wrong with this, it might actually not be hard to fix. Under the top, we've got our DVD drive and our hard drive. Even though error 7's a hard drive timeout, it might still not be the hard drive. Both these drives are on the same IDE cable, so that could be affected. The DVD drive could also interfere with the signal and give a hard drive error. And of course, I guess it's possible that the hard drive's just not getting the right power. Except the voltages are fine, and the IDE cable didn't fix it either. This is a weird looking IDE cable. I haven't seen one quite like this before, but it is brand new. Next, I've got a bit of a strange setup with an extra power supply connected to a PC DVD drive. One of the connectors still has to be connected to the Xbox drive, but I've got the data connected to the PC drive. This doesn't work just as a plug-and-play solution to play retail games, but it should work for testing purposes. Oh, this is the first time I've heard that hard drive spin up. Is it going to work? Hey, it works! Testing 1, 2, 3. Yes, we are. So we've got a bad DVD drive.
Yes,
causing
we
a
are.
hard drive error. And of course, what portable Xbox is complete without a DVD drive? So we're going to fix this. What's in here? Wow, this thing comes apart really easily. It's just 4 screws and then all the things I need to get out come out. With the PCB out the way, you can see the back of the optical pickup here. The disc sits under here. This
Ah, fuck me. Oh, fuck. Jeez.
way, and there's a motor here spinning this worm drive to line up the pickup with what part of the disc it wants to read. On the top, we've got a spindle that spins the disc, and here you can see the lens for the optical pickup. There's a laser in here which shoots through some reflective thingamajigs straight up to the disc, bounces straight back down again, then gets directed off somewhere else to a sensor which reads the flash codes coming back. The data lines are made up of reflective and not reflective bits, so the reflected laser beam is the data stream. But I'm not looking at any of that. I'm looking at this. I have read that these tiny little resistor arrays here in the Samsung drives like like to fail. So I just need to measure every single one of them and hope that I get the value written on the top. This particular one should be 33 ohms. It says 330 on the top, with 33 being the value and 0 being the 10 times multiplier. So we times it by 10 0 times. If that said 333, it would be 33,000 ohms. And as I was getting right near the end, losing hope that this was actually the issue, I came across this guy. This should measure 82 ohms, and it measures 9.4 thousand ohms. The next one, another 82 ohm resistor, measures 882 ohms. So that guy's coming out, and you can see how much of a tiny little component can just bring the whole system down. And I don't have another one of these either, but I do have 4 of these, and together they are functionally the same as that tiny little broken idiot. The difficulty is just in attaching them. But I reckon I've succeeded, and that means we get to use our very first bit of hot glue. You can't leave these things floating in midair. They really don't like hanging off those surface mount solder points. Let's try again, shall we? Yes, it's working! I mean, it hasn't read a disc yet, but it's got a bit further than it did last time. Now, you might be thinking this dashboard looks a little bit different to what you remember, and that's because this is a custom Gametronics dashboard. Apparently this is Australian exclusive, and even has background music. I'm hoping that's not copyright. I might just turn that down. The Gametronics team seems to be long gone, and I actually had a lot of trouble figuring out what mod chip was in this when I first got it, and I needed to know because to make this portable, we're going to have to change the hard drive. Having a mod chip makes that way easier to do. In any case, let's see if we can actually read a disc. Oh, come on. Open. Please open.
Open sesame.
There we go. Can we read a disc? I hope it does. It does! I'm so happy! Obviously I didn't have to put this back together, but I wanted to give it one last chance of being a complete Xbox before it becomes a complete catastrophe. So, I guess it's time to rip its guts out. I want to make this as small as I possibly can, so everything unnecessary has got to go. Huge pieces of plastic like this, gone. Gone. The old IDE cable, bigger than it needs to be. Gone. I do need some of this front panel, but I can't get at it yet. There we go. This part, this is pretty much all I need. It's the power and eject button. Look at the size of this stuff. We don't need this. It's gone. I'm not actually going to use this power supply, but I do need to use it for some testing, so we'll just be gentle with that. There's about 1 million screws in the motherboard that I got to take out. But once they're all out, the motherboard still doesn't... there's another screw. The motherboard comes... oh, it's still plugged in, be unplugged. And nothing else in here is important. Look how much smaller the Xbox is already. So on here, we've got a lot of dust. Got a bunch of capacitors, which
destroyed
they might have been
motherboard.
changed at some point. Under this heatsink, we've got our GPU. Under this one, we've got our CPU. It's around about a Pentium 3, 1 whole core. We've got some RAM here. The NVIDIA Southbridge, which manages all of the
here, and
inputs
then
and
go
outputs
to
and things. This chip handles the power buttons, power lights, powering up out of standby, blah blah blah. Network controller, and the guy that makes the video signals. On the back, we've got a couple more RAM chips, a chip that has something to do with the 5 volts, and here's our Gametronics mod chip. It has the same X logo as the boot screen and says GTX v1.0 up here. This thing's gonna make my life so much easier. This hard drive is huge, heavy, it's got a spinny guy in it. These don't like being moved around when they're working. But compact flash cards actually communicate in exactly the same way as these old IDE do.
Pardon.
The connector's obviously completely different, but you only need a passive converter, and this compact flash drive will work exactly the same as this hard drive did. Look, if I pull this shield off, come on, come off. Go away. You can see there are no chips on this thing at all. It's purely wiring. So the first thing I need to do is prepare this card to be used in an Xbox because it's not normal formatting. But the only PC that I've got that has the right connection to plug this into is this one. So this is how we're gonna be doing the hard drive formatting. The program to use for this is called Fat Explorer. The original hard drives are locked to the system. Having a mod chip circumvents that, so you don't need a locked hard drive anymore. But even then, Windows can't read an Xbox hard drive by default. And for some reason it thinks that my CF card is too small to use for an Xbox. The minimum's supposed to be 7.45 gig, but my CF card is exactly 7.45 gig. And is it gonna be wrong by 1 byte or something? Yay! All I had to do was use a completely different compact flash card, and now the continue button is behind the start bar. Slight issue with using an arcade machine as a PC is that the resolution is limited to 800 by 600. Although the fact that I've actually got more than 640 by 480 is kind of a miracle. After formatting the drive, I made a backup of the other hard drive and then copied all the other hard drive contents to the new one, except the 100 gig of pirated games, because I'm all about originals. I really hope this works, because if it doesn't, not really sure. Yeah, this is off the CF card, so the CF card's working perfectly. The next thing that needs to be made smaller is the DVD drive. I think I can make a big difference to this guy. The housing's definitely gonna go. That's a keep. Most of the top cover's gonna go, but I need to keep this white thing. Ah, there we go. Because this thing is magnetic and it holds the disc in place. Next, I really wish I'd ejected this before I started taking it apart. I think these gears down here might have something to do with it. Hey, there we go. And there are a couple of clips down in these holes here, and that comes straight out and goes on the floor. This little belt here is actually the reason why I had to hit it to get it to eject before. They get old and start slipping. You can actually replace this through the front without even taking the Xbox apart, but I'm not even going to have an eject mechanism. That's all part of the getting rid of things that I'm doing now. This piece here, this piece here is about as small as I can get the DVD drive to be. I mean, other than the PCB. I'm going to remove this board here that's... There we go. I'm not going to use this piece at all, but it has the switches on it, which tell the Xbox whether the tray is open or closed. I need the Xbox to think it's closed all the time. Quite usefully, this is labeled close on this side and open on this side. So all I have to do is make sure the switch actually closes the circuit when you push it. Sometimes you'll get a normally closed switch, which will open the circuit when you push it. Then have a look at which pin it's connected to. So this connector can go away, and a solder blob just here should make it work. You just got deleted. At least if this disc starts spinning, then that's true. Yes. Hey, it goes backwards first. That's interesting. This whole rest of everything, well, that's taking up too much space, isn't it? The biggest thing that I have to overcome before I can turn this into a giant steaming pile of masterful artwork is that this power supply has to go. This board takes the 240 volts mains that we've got here in Australia and spits out several voltages to run the different parts of this. The most difficult part of getting rid of this is that it has a standby voltage which powers up just the standby circuit in the Xbox until you push the power button, and then it powers up the rest of the power supply to boot the Xbox properly. Having a standby voltage is not ideal for batteries. It's just going to run them flat the whole time, Windows laptops. And ideally, I just want this thing to boot up on one switch. With the switch off, no power.
Oh, neck crack.
With the switch on, batteries connected, thing turns on. Thankfully for me, 𝙂𝙬𝙤𝙬 has written a guide on how to do exactly that. However, there are several versions of the Xbox motherboard, and their guide only supports the 121 model. Of course, this Xbox is actually the 121 model. I didn't plan that in any way when I started doing this. It's just... I'm very happy. So to delete the standby function, I have to remove a whole bunch of components, run a couple of jumper wires, and hopefully that'll work.
Oof.
I should unplug these things before I touch them.
Electrocuted.
Beep. It's not even plugged in. It's just charged capacitors biting me. So now before I put another power supply in this, I've jumpered this one so that it's always on. That's what this wire used to do. And hopefully, as soon as I plug this in, the power will come on, the console will boot. Well, that didn't work. Okay, so apparently holding the power button while you plug the power in makes it boot now. I don't actually know whether it did that before or not, but I guess that means if I bridge these two connections, then it'll just turn on when I want it to. Did it work? It did! Hopefully having the power button stuck on all the time doesn't cause problems later. But anyway, now we can get rid of the power supply. You go away. Oh, there's a stool there. Now, I'm not entirely sure whether this is going to be useful, but I've got this weird iPod video dock thing that got ruined by a shouty man. I figure it's got a screen, it's got speakers, and it's got batteries. Those are all things that I'm going to need from a portable Xbox, although it doesn't have AV input, so hopefully it's using AV from the iPod to here and I can intercept that and do things and things. I'm also hoping the battery works, because I don't know if it does, and I've actually had this plugged in for quite a while and it's not turning on, but it might still be useful. Oh, that came off very fast. What's under here? Anything? Nothing really helpful. You can see the speakers now though. She'd always use the correct tool for the job, and the correct tool for this job is a screwdriver, so I guess I'm doing the right thing. Will it open yet?
Or I guess he's screwed.
Hey, look at that. The plastic's made of nothing. Very easy to open. Okay, so the batteries haven't been used since 2006, but fingers crossed. Come on, probably perfectly good batteries. You'll be perfectly good, won't you? How many volts have you got? 0.0. Okay. Why, it flashes the charge light for 1 millisecond. Maybe it's noticing that the batteries are too flat to use and actively deciding not to charge them. I've just peeled the ends off so I can measure the actual cell itself. Yes, it's not good. It's not very good. I feel like there's some kind of charge something in here that's stopping these from charging. Because I just plugged this into my benchtop power supply and it drew 0 current, which is pretty much saying the batteries aren't connected to these wires. Yeah, there's a PCB in here. Okay, the second battery is just connected straight to the batteries. This one though has a little circuit board. It's probably a battery management system of some kind. I'm just going to temporarily delete that battery management system, then wire all the batteries together, and hopefully set this charging off my power supply apply. Ah, we're getting a bit of current flow now. I'm gonna go for about 1/4 amp this time. I don't need any stinky explosions. Let's see if the rest of this thing has anything useful at all. Alright, so this is a jack board, I guess because it's got jacks on it. And this one's a power board. It'd be really nice if this outputs the voltages the Xbox needs, but I suspect the current capability may not be up to it. We've got 8 ohm, 1.5 watt speakers, so I guess we're going for 3 watts total. For reference, your car radio usually outputs 55 watts per speaker. Oh, look at all these bits of metal that I just made. I mean, I didn't make them, I just ruined them. Oh, it's not a good LCD. This is a fluorescent backlight. That's not the low-powered device I was hoping for. But yeah, I guess LED technology wasn't that great in 2006. Let's see if we can turn it on when it's in bits. Yeah, oh, that's a low-res thing. All right, I'd like to try this with an iPod, but I don't have an iPod that's suitable for this.
Oh,
Looking
Netcrack.
out online, there are 3 possibilities that could be analog video into this guy, and if it's not those, well, this screen might have to go in the bin. I'm hoping this beeps somewhere along here. It doesn't. Great. That one does. So that's part of the S-video output. The previous one has to be connected to. It is! Okay, so there's S-video coming straight out of this connector into this screen. Composite video is the old yellow AV plug, and S-video is the next step up from that. It uses extra wires for extra video quality. I've just gone through and figured out what all of these wires on this ribbon cable do, and I found 2 separate grounds, which is a bit strange, but I'm about to connect them together and see what happens. I'm hoping it's a signal line so that it knows when there's an iPod plugged in, or I might just destroy the whole thing. I've got a video signal coming out of the end of this probe. It's not really the correct video signal, but I'm gonna poke it in there anyway, and hopefully it wakes this thing up. Oh my gosh! I film in a frickin' tin shed, and that roof is so loud when the birds drop stuff off the tree. Oh! The picture is messed up because, like I said, it's not really the ideal picture for this. This is expecting S-video, and I'm only giving it composite video, so it's sort of there-ish. Oh, wow. These batteries were on charge for a whole day, and then they were off charge for like 4 days. And look at that. These are 3.7 volt batteries. They got 3.64 volts in them. I reckon these batteries have come back to life. How long they'll run an Xbox for remains to be seen, but they should at least run for more than no time. And on top of that, my new low-voltage power supply finally turned up in the mail. This is a 300-watt Pico PSU. It says de Broglie on it. It's designed to run a PC off 12 volts, and even though it can actually kind of plug into the Xbox connector, the Xbox is wired differently to a PC, and I guess I want this connector to go away anyway. Wow, this is harder to break than I thought it would be. And I think now the last thing we need is a controller. This one will do. The modern handheld design seems to be controls on the ends of the screen, so I want to try and achieve that if I can. Ooh, I'm the first one in here. Let's see how portable this is. On this side, we've got 2 different sized vibration motors, one for little vibrations and one for the big vibrations. They just spin these concentric weights around, which makes it go blah, 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 blah. And somehow the smaller one needs higher rated wiring than the bigger one. Got our L and R triggers here, which turn little potentiometers here, or I don't know, maybe they're rotary encoders, I don't really care. Let's rip this out. Other side, we've got some pretty filthy, dusty sticks here. One of the memory card slots, and the other memory card slots on the bottom. Why did they need 2 memory card slots on a console that had a built-in hard drive that all of the games saved to? And that's not just 2 memory card slots, that's 2 memory card slots per controller. So you can connect 8 memory cards to the Xbox. Most people never even saw a memory card. Hey, where's the chip that runs the thing? Ah, there it is. Oh, wow. Looking up the part number, it's just an off-the-shelf AVR microcontroller with a built-in USB hub. I really expected some custom chip, but I guess they just went for what was available. Well, that was the easy part. I can't just slice down the middle of this or it won't work again. I have to carefully choose a path to cut along. And that's not even my normal careful. This is like proper actually paying attention. Look, I only used the angle grinder for half of it. That's how careful I have to be. Oops. Well, I wasn't quite ready for that, but there we go. Look at this. This will go on here somehow, I suppose. Here, maybe here-ish? I don't know. I guess we'll find out. One thing's for sure, though, is I've got a lot of wires to connect together. Whew. Well, that should be connected again, except I shouldn't have started by cutting off the cable because now I don't know for sure. I'm starting to get sick of prep work now, so I might just start chucking some stuff together, shall I? I need a bit of huge chunks of hot glue all around the place here. I think we'll put the screen somewhere up there. Probably, I don't know, here? Yeah, alright. That's a screen. That's there.
Okay.
Oh, look, I got hot glue on the screen. That's good. And immediately I've covered up the connections for the AV ports, so hopefully I can get to them from the other side. More
Fuck.
hot glue. This board's gonna go, I guess it has to go here because the ribbon cable is very short. I'm trying to let the hot glue be an insulating layer between these boards and the motherboard. Hopefully that's successful. Ow, 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 ow. Hot glue is hot. More hot glue. This bit
Hot
here
glue
has
is
some pretty high
hot.
voltages on it, so I guess I'll just extra hot glue it to make sure that they don't do any jumping. Jumping high voltages are not friendly. Ow, 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 ow. Now for the controller, I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to attach it, but I reckon I need to probably put some slots so the motherboard can go into the controllers. And the other one has a memory card slot there, but I guess one memory card slot's going to be enough. Oh, I've got an Ethernet port in the way. Well, here's what we do with things that are in the way. We make them not in the way. I said, no, they're not in the way. Oh, and the AV port too. No! I was just doing a bit of additional trimming and I've cut through 2 of my wires. I said I was sick of prep work. Alright, finally. Hot glue, hot glue. I like hot glue. Hot glue glues all the things. I really hope this works. Now I need to connect the controller to this controller port connector. Except it's not behaving. I want it to come off. Here's what plugging in the controller looks like. I don't need any of the connections on this power supply. I can make this much smaller. Ow, ow, that's hot.
Oh, I see.
Connections on this power supply. I can make this come off. Here's what plugging in the controller looks like. I don't need any of the connectors off. I almost completely obliterated one of the traces here, but I don't think it's an important one. I reckon we're good. I've decided I'm not going to use any of the power management from this iPod thingamajig. It's just not really compatible with this power supply. I'm not going to be able to pull enough current from the 12 volts on this thing. So I've gotten rid of the charge connector, power switch which was already doing nothing. The charge lights can go, and no more battery connector either. I can't be bothered figuring out which other bits are part of that, so the rest can stay. But I've decided to reconfigure the battery packs and use some other battery management system that I've had kicking around for ages. If you connect the positive and the negative together on batteries, you get the original voltage, in this case 3.7 volts, but you can draw twice as much current out of them. If you connect 2 batteries end to end, with the positive and negative connected together in the middle, you get double the voltage, in this case 7.4, but you don't increase the amount of current you can draw. Basically, in parallel, more current. In series, more voltage. But as long as they're even, you can also do combinations, some in parallel and some in series. So you can get more voltage and more current. With 2 groups of 3 batteries, was outputting 7.4 volts at an amount of current I don't know what these are rated at. And it's hailing now, so if you can hear clicking in the background, that's just ice falling on my roof. The thing is, I needed 12 volts to run this power supply, and this configuration provides 11.1, so it's close enough. Oh, I'm pretty much just putting stuff wherever it fits now. Somewhere there, might even be able to use these ports on here still. Although I think that board is solely held up by capacitors. Yeah, that goes there. Oh no, this is not the plug that goes there. That goes in, oh, I might still, I don't know, I might have stuffed everything up. Oh well, I'm sure it'll be fine. I've used alternate points to save myself from trying to solder to this ribbon connector here, but this is my AV cable. Thankfully, I did remember to write down how the AV connector connects to the board before I destroyed it. It's also worth mentioning that as well as the video and audio signals, you have to attach the mode pins. In my case, I have to ground these 2 pads. Otherwise, the Xbox will think there's no AV cable connected and it will just not boot. Alright, we got audio and video connected. We're getting so close to being able to test this, and hopefully that wiring's correct because it's going to be real hard to get back at it. Another wire broke and I don't know which one it is.
Ooh.
Thankfully I made this completely serviceable as long as there's an angle grinder nearby. This time I'm going to spread hot glue all over all the wires. This 30 gauge single core wire is great for soldering to small parts, but it's pretty terrible for snapping off again afterwards. It should be a lot better now. Okay, now it's time for the power supply to go in. I'm making the wires as short as I can because I'm not really sure if this thing's going to heat up and melt the hot glue that I'm going to use to hold it in. The wires can be some extra support. Ow, 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 ow. Everything's so hot. I'm hoping it just needs those 3 wires. There is a power OK wire, which is this blue one here. I'm just going to leave it and see if it's a problem later. Now for the battery management, I'm going to bend these wires down and I'm going to use them as supports. Because once again, I'm not really sure how hot this thing's going to get. Although I am gluing those wires to something else that I'm not sure how hot it's going to get. Now of course I haven't really planned where I'm going to put the batteries. I think there's probably room for one down here. Maybe another one up here. I don't really want to put all of them up here though because it's going to be really heavy at the top. I'm thinking stuffing another one down in here, but I really need to sort out what's going going to happen with this cable first. This blue connector is the one that's supposed to go into the motherboard, not the grey one. But looking up the difference online, it's really just the connectors. So I'm going to try swapping the connectors around and having the motherboard connection in the middle. The grey one has one missing just here, and the one at the other end has a different one missing, which is how the motherboard knows which connector is the master and which one's the slave. It shouldn't actually matter where
Oh my
the cable
goodness.
connectors are, as long as they're all connected up correctly. Now,
What
I don't
the
have the
fuck?
correct tool to do this, but I've got
Hold on,
a
let me
tiny
pause the
bench
video.
device. It seems to
Which was the mother and which was the slave? Oh my fucking. That caught me off. Which one's the mother and which one's the slave? Oh my fucking god. I want to hear that again. Hold on.
master and which one's the slave. It should the other end has a different one missing, which is how the motherboard knows which connector is the master and which one's the slave.
Which is... Hi, Genzo. I'm currently drawing and laughing my ass off at unhinged jokes this video has every 2 minutes.
It shouldn't actually matter where on the cable the connectors are, as long as they're all connected up correctly. Now, I don't have the correct tool to do this, but I've got a little tiny bench vise. It seems to do the job. This is starting to look out of hand. Once I've got a power switch in this thing, I want to give it another test. I really hope this works. I'm going to be beyond devastated if something goes wrong with this. This is our charge port going in here. I figure next to the power switch is as good. Oh, no, that's going to move. As good as a position as any. Oh, wow. Other than covering stuff up, I think the back's done. All right, I am genuinely nervous. There are so many hours in this thing, and it's been so long since I've tested anything. This could go horribly wrong. 3, 2, 1, on. Heaps good. It's not doing anything. Ah, okay. The batteries are flat. I wonder if that's because they're completely dead and I've just permanently attached dead batteries into this, or if they just need charging. Hopefully they just need charging. Well, I've got 12 volts here. I'm gonna plug this. Aw, why can't I plug that in? What about this one? Yay! Alright, the batteries are charging, but I should also be able to test this just on the power. Although it's only a 3 amp power supply, so we'll see how that goes. Okay, come on, please, please, please. I forgot to power the screen, so it could be Oh, I didn't do that though. It didn't spin the disc though. Okay, the screen should come on now, but I'm not really expecting it to boot. I think it's that power okay signal. Yeah, we got the screen, but I think I need 3.3 volt on the power okay line. All right, soldering through hot glue was surprisingly easy. Oh, whoops. Except for it didn't work at all. That's bad.
Oh, no.
All right, I'm so confident this is going to work. I've even connected up the disk drive again. I have to be confident because if this doesn't work, I'm just going to have to go and cry myself to sleep and have a look again tomorrow. Ready? I've got the screen on.
What do they call it? I hope this works, kind of moan.
Why? Please turn. Please, please. All right, it's a new day. I've spent the last hour trying to figure out what's wrong with this, and I found more than one thing. Firstly, I'd forgotten to power the compact flash card, but that still didn't fix it. Then I recrimped the IDE cable about 20,000 times, but that still didn't fix it. Then I soldered one of the original power lights onto the motherboard because this is used to show you whether there's any AV errors or anything like that, but there wasn't an AV error. It was flashing as though the disk tray had been ejected. What I found was that the DVD drive only had 2.5 volts where it was supposed to have 5 volts. Since I can't access the motherboard to try and find out why, I just ran a patch cable connecting 5 volts directly to where that 2.5 volts was. You should never do that, but watch this. Wait a minute, the disc still isn't spinning. Oh! 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 This is the first time I've actually tested it with a disc. This is taking a really long time. I suspect it isn't working. Turns out the DVD drive's died again. It's not resistors this time, all the voltages are good, I tried recapping it even, but no, it's dead. Here's another one. This is a Thompson drive. It's known to be the crappiest one of the lot. The smallest I can get it is also a lot bigger than the other drive. Okay, I think we're going to be alright. I think we're on the right track again. This L-shaped PCB is pretty much the same as this PCB off the Samsung drive, except this time it's used to extend this ribbon down to this connector. To get rid of this thing, I'm going to modify a drive cable out of a 3DO console. Peeling this apart worked the last time I tried it, so hopefully it works again. Yeah, look at that. The only thing is, the other end's not the same, but thankfully they didn't change the pin order or anything, so I can just clip the ends off to make it work. I do have to remove this ribbon cable and put the new one on this piece. Soldering is something that this piece of ribbon is absolutely not designed for, but I'm pretty sure I succeeded. Surely it's safe to hot glue this in now. What are the chances of having 2 dead drives in a row? They're only like a billion years old. Okay, maybe I'm not super confident. I'm just gonna test this one more time before I put... Oh, it's spinning! Oh, yes! Please, 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 please. Please load.
It never loaded.
I haven't touched this thing in about 3 weeks because it was very mean to me and wouldn't work properly. So I've recovered from the emotional damage it caused me and I've had another look at it. I discovered 2 things. Firstly, 7 of the 8 untested Xbox drives I bought to fix this thing with don't work. And second, the one that kind of worked didn't work in this because the crimp I'd done on the IDE connector was bad and that's what caused all my problems. Watch this. It's actually booting. Now we are on the home stretch. I just gotta put this thing together. Look at this. I've soft mounted it and everything. That'll give it a little bit of vibration.
Oh, that's good.
I am a little bit worried about the length of this ribbon here though. It was really short before and it could pick up some interference from the electronics I've got it running over down there, but hopefully it'll work. I feel like I'm saying hopefully a lot, but you gotta be hopeful, don't you? Because if you're not hopeful, what point is there in doing anything? It works! But we're not playing it just yet. Firstly, look at this masterpiece. This thing gave me so much trouble in every single way. But other than the disk drive, it was almost all my fault. But I finally had some success with it, and I don't want anything getting in there and shorting it out, and I don't want to shock myself on the thing again either. So I need to give it a plastic housing. In my other videos, everyone's always like, why don't you 3D print a casing for it? So this time, my housing's gonna come off a roll. Except it's this roll. I'm not gonna 3D print a housing, are you insane? I don't want a casing with lines all through it. See, look at that smooth finish. Hey, I reckon I can even keep the original labels for the ports. And the sticky rubber coating. Check that
Jeez
out. That looks like a
Christ.
retail product. Oh, this is turning out awesome. Oh, we definitely need this somewhere. Man, they put these things on real tough. I want this on my Xbox. And it's not. Oh, that's a shame. We can still use it. Yeah, good as new. Feast your eyes upon true portability. It's so neat and tidy. It looks like it could have been bought from the shops.
Yeah, that's the most jerry-rigged bullshit I've ever seen.
I couldn't cover the heat sinks because they need to radiate heat away, otherwise it's going to overheat, which it might do anyway because I've deleted the fan. I also wanted to keep the compact flash card accessible, although it is very hard to pull out. We've got a power input up here for charging, the power switch in the corner here. This blubber goop is our power in. I also wanted to keep the compact flash card accessible, although it is very hard to pull out.
Just like me.
We've got a power input up here for charging, the power switch in the corner here. This blubber goop is our power light. On the other side, we've got the navigation and volume buttons for the screen. On the bottom, we've got the original ports from the 𝙂𝙤𝙣𝙬𝙧 thing. So we've got 2 headphone ports, a line out, and an S-video port. I've never seen an S-video to headphone jack adapter, so I probably won't use that. I kept one of the memory card ports, so we can use a memory card, at least if you don't need to see that part of the screen. And I stuck the speakers out on the sides here, and now they look like ears. Now it's time for our first proper boot up. Hopefully. Good signs. Yes.
Halo.
That's actually kind of loud and very distorted. Invert thumbstick, yes. It's the only way. There's already a save file on here. Of course there is. It's an Xbox. Let's play Zack. It's working. It's actually working. The screen is so bad, it's really hard for me to see where I'm going. And man, Halo doesn't look
That's
as
actually-
good as I remember. Oh, wait,
That looks good.
Let's unplug the power. We're on batteries. There's no enemies anywhere. Why? Oh, just grenading myself in the face? You have no idea how happy I am that this thing is actually working as intended. Hey, something to shoot. Wait, what's shoot? What's shoot in this thing? Well, I'm out of ammo, so I'm just grenading everything. I never really got into Halo.
Xbox Pro drawing so much power that the battery's gonna last like a few minutes. You probably need like four 9-volt batteries.
Played through most of it a long time ago, but then it got to a point where it was like 15 minutes between the respawn point and the spot where I died every single time. I just got over it and left it alone then. And you're right, fantastic. Good. Let's just run to the end. I got a plasma grenade. That's good. You can have the plasma grenade. Oh no, there's the plasma grenade. You know, I kind of expected this thing to be on batteries for like 1 minute and then just die. But it's doing it. It's doing it on the batteries. These batteries are from 2006 and they hadn't been used since then. Their own battery controller refused to charge them. Do the enemies not give you ammo in Halo? You're dead. Oh, good. Oh, the controller vibration works. I didn't even realize until just now. I do wonder how much the laser likes the vibration. I wonder if I can turn up the brightness. I can, but it just makes it more washed out. And so does the contrast. I think I've actually made a proper portable Xbox. This has been running on batteries for ages. The fact that I'm right at the beginning of the level is just because I'm not doing very well at the game. Oh, there it goes. All right.
About 10
that's
minutes.
the battery life. It's saying, something's wrong here. What you doing to me? The Xbox said no. So I've made a portable Xbox. It's
Sorta.
an actual real portable Xbox. It's
Sorta
an Xbox
portable.
and it's portable. And it actually works surprisingly well. It's very top heavy. It's wanting to tip that way a lot. But it's not that much less pocket sized than the Switch 2. Ooh, I wonder. It might have just overheated. If this thing has more battery life in it, this would be incredible. Let's try this. Yeah, we got cooling. No, my disc's not good enough. It's got scratches on the back. Unless a flat battery just causes disk read errors, which is definitely possible. Yeah, the battery was flat, and the disc stops being able to read once the battery gets below a certain level. The best part is there's no way to know whether it's at the right level because there's no charge meter or even charge light to tell you that the battery's charging. Whoa, I just got an idea. This is gonna be so good. If I plug these controller ports in here, now I've got controller ports 3 and 4, now I can take Steel Battalion with me everywhere. And someone sell me a new Steel Battalion disc because it's been resurfaced too many times and this is not a real one. Yeah, it even runs on batteries. Except for I don't know what I'm looking at here. Need to wash my windscreen. Where do I washing? There we go. Okay, I'm dead. We're done! I made a portable Xbox. We've got portable Steel Battalion. This might be the first ever portable Xbox to feature a DVD drive. Yeah, can't help not being the first to make an actual portable Xbox.
Aw, kitty. Aw. Oh, look. What's going on with my... Alright. Okay. Oh, fuck.
Penetration testers and ethical hackers, I have a few tricks to share with you to add to your toolkit. So credit where credit is due. This one comes from a blog post that I've seen previously on secureyourit.co.uk, just another pen testing site, and this blog is put together by Richard Davey. The contact page on his blog references his handle or alias, RD_pentest, and you can find that on Twitter or X. I'll leave the link to this post in the video description, and I will preface, maybe you might consider this old because it was released on November 2nd of 2024, last year, so old
we
what
go.
you might call it, and maybe folks are familiar with this, but I did want it to bring to your attention. While the title here is Living Off the Land, I think there are some other tricks to this. Previously, he was performing a laptop build review, just trying to see what was possible if any potential employees or new onboarded team members might actually end up being able to break out of what was supposed to be a secure build. Now, he was exploring the Microsoft Software Center that you might be used to and maybe you've seen in organizations or different businesses, but this post isn't specifically about vulnerabilities while looking at the Microsoft Software Center. It's more of one of the unique binaries or programs that he's found while looking at that has been a little bit more useful. This is ServiceUI.exe. ServiceUI.exe is a Microsoft signed binary. It's coming from Microsoft, so it's legitimate, it's signed, it's got the code certificate there, and it looks as valid as possible because it's from Microsoft. That, I think, is the nod to living off the land as we might be accustomed to with lolbas or lolbins, like binaries that are native and installed on your computer, but this might not be. So we could pull this binary in, and you're still using a trusted, legitimate, signed Microsoft program. Anyway, ServiceUI.exe is included inside of a Microsoft deployment toolkit. So we have a link here, and again, I'll share that in the video description for you to reference as well. So let's go ahead and download this Microsoft deployment kit, and you'll note this actually includes different MSI or Microsoft installer packages. You could choose whatever is pertinent for a 32-bit architecture or 64-bit architecture, x86 or x64 respectively. I'll go for the 64-bit. All right, now I've got the Microsoft deployment toolkit downloaded and available here on my desktop in a Windows 11 virtual machine, and I want to go ahead and get this cruising. I'll click through all the next, let this thing install, and let me please say that this is the MSI package that contains all of this info. That includes the ServiceUI.exe binary, but that doesn't mean that you have to bring in or ship this entire MSI and then follow through the installation steps just to get the binary. Once you have this set, maybe even downloaded on a separate computer, a completely different host, then you could go grab the actual executable that is now available in your program files, Microsoft Deployment Toolkit, in the templates directory under the distribution here, and then the tools that follow suit in either x64 or x86. I'll get x64, and I'll scroll down to find our ServiceUI.exe. This is really all we need. In fact, I could just copy this, go put it on our desktop, and then it doesn't need to be in that entire folder or directory that this came from the MSI package. Anyway, I say that just so that you know you don't need that full MSI, you just need ServiceUI.exe. Now, this is one, though, that might very well require some graphical user interface and like actual interaction with the desktop environment. You might have some difficulty scripting this or automating this from a command line procedural method, but let me show you some other tricks that could still let this happen. In that desktop, let me try and run our ServiceUI.exe, and it gives us some of the help information. Execute a program interactively in a target session. Action with the desktop environment. You might have some difficulty scripting this or automating this from a command line procedural method, but let me show you some other tricks that could still let this happen. In that desktop, let me try and run our ServiceUI.exe, and it gives us some of the help information. Execute a program interactively in a target session. It says it must run from the system context. Let's go back to the blog post and read more about this. Now, if you've got this downloaded and you're following along, they note executing ServiceUI.exe gives the following options, just as we saw. A simple test for code execution, we can run ServiceUI and then the full path, they're using the command line or cmd.exe environment variables here. You'll notice the %signs wrapping around the variable name for the Windows directory. That fills in the absolute path c:\windows\notepad.exe. That would launch Notepad. So this, truth be told, is pretty simple and easy, right? I'm in PowerShell right now, so without needing to use the %signs as you would in cmd.exe or use the $env::winder, we can just type out the full thing,
c:\\Windows notepad.exe. Now this errors because it needs a logon session, like a valid interactive graphical user interface and logical session. They had success when they ran this, but that was because they ran it as the local administrator. Now, my user account is in the administrators group, but I did not open up this terminal with administrator privileges, opening up with like Control-Shift-Enter. Let us show you. Control-Shift-Enter as I open up the terminal and going through the user account control pop-up. If I were to do this very same thing, let me see if that will behave. Let's run with our Windows notepad.exe test. That executes. And Notepad opens up. Now, there are a couple of gimmicks and some nuance that I want to talk about, because if we were to use a command like query user, we'd be able to see that there is, in fact, an actual session with session ID 1 for my user. When we tried to run serviceui.exe with our low privilege, that didn't happen, even though there is something that should be there. So this is usually when people in the YouTube comments tend to roll their eyes and say, well, yeah, if you have local admin privileges to be able to run and do whatever, then you're already admin. What more is there? You could do whatever you want. Well, sort of. There is an element of truth to that, and I won't deny it, but we could go even higher, like gating privileges as NT authority system, or in some cases, trusted installer. And let me ramble and rant for a second, because I think it's often overlooked that it is usually easy to get to local admin privileges in the offensive security or pen testing context. Because usually, I mean, even for just your own personal laptop, if you're the only user of this laptop, you're more often than not the local admin. And way too often in IT, industry, security, businesses and companies, maybe individuals that are given their own laptop are again the local admin there, or way too often users have privileges and permissions being the admin when they shouldn't be. Anyway, I think that always has a worthwhile grain of salt to be included in that conversation. So on the basis that we've achieved local administrator privileges, again, we use that as a starting point. Even 𝙂𝙚𝙣𝙚, in a recent threat intel write-up in a blog post for Nightshade C2, and this is an anecdote, I'm sorry, but they cover how they use this UAC prompt bombing. They repeatedly pop open the UAC prompt over and over and over again until the user clicks yes and allows the malware or payload to run as admin. Anyway, sorry, say we want to gain an interactive system shell. Now, we've covered this in a couple other videos, normally noting, okay, you could do this via the task scheduler or scheduled tasks on Windows, and Richard Davey walks through this operation where you can do this via the graphical user interface, just setting up a new task and then having it run service UI with whatever you want, and then it'll execute as system. And he showcases this query user technique as you would to be able to find a specific logon session, but that would get you where you want to go. So on its own, serviceui.exe still can act as like a sort of execution cradle, and I think that's a point worth mentioning if we were to run serviceui.exe with Windows notepad.exe. That will fire and execute, and if I were to go take a look at Process Explorer, that serviceui.exe, trusted, legitimate Microsoft binary, is the parent of the child process, of course, right? Oh, and I should be sure to run this as admin, so let's get UAC prompt for Process Explorer. Now let me go hunt for Notepad. Notepad here checks the parent with PID 4304, which is just what it suggests in service UI output. Let me try to run this with like car map, so that way we might have a process that exists. Oh, system 32, my bad. Okay, now that will maintain its execution because there wasn't like some Microsoft app in the way. Now let's get back to Process Explorer. Here it is. Serviceui.exe with carmap.exe as the parent. Excuse me, the child. Here it is, serviceui.exe, and that is a super teeny weeny, small and tiny, trite trivial thing where it could potentially break some detection rules. Hunting for execution of malicious binary out of the blue, well, now if it's coming from trusted, legitimate, real Microsoft signed binary that is not something you have rules for, just one thing. Staging that could still mean a really simple proxy execution context so that you don't have a child process out of explorer.exe or wherever, whatever, that's more usually caught and signatured. But anyway, let's get to running this as system using the task scheduler or a scheduled task. Now again, if you are able to do this via the graphical user interface, this is the worthwhile showcase to see how that's done, but you might more interestingly want to run this as an automated thing, as commands or scripts or things that you can stage. Obviously, we'll run this as system while I change the user and group with that button click there, check the name for system, and then run with highest privileges. The actions, we'll want to create a new startup of a program from our desktop and the service UI binary. You could put that wherever. And the arguments that we would want to run, let's do car map again, just so we can see that child-parent process chain. Carmap.exe, click OK, OK. Now that that's created, let me get to our library. Let's go ahead and manually run or trigger our system CMD. And with that, you should now see car map executed while it was hidden and tucked away from me. But getting back to Process Explorer, that should now be running as system. Can I get to car map? Yeah, here it is. Service UI.exe, carmap.exe, taking a look at the properties, and I should have ran this as admin. I keep forgetting. All right, now you can see, of course, the properties here. The user executing this is NT Authority System, and carmap child process consequently is NT Authority System. You could, of course, run cmd.exe to get an interactive shell. You could run your payload. You could get a reverse shell. You could drop whatever you want, and that will still have that NT Authority System level permissions. But that, I know, is the graphical user interface method that might not be as slick and as sexy as we want. Now, a previous video of mine walked through going even higher than NT Authority System and elevating to Trusted Installer. Now, that had bits and pieces of the manual steps that you might walk through. But I just recently received an email from someone who watched that video and then took things a little bit further to try and automate or streamline that. Now, I did ask permission if I could share their work, and they said yes. They did want it to be credited as Matthew, so thank you, Matthew. And he says, hey, I watched your video on becoming Trusted Installer, and I took a closer look at the source behind NT Object Manager. I ended up creating a wrapper for the Trusted Installer command prompt that not only spawns the command prompt process, but also enables all privileges. Like when you run whoami/priv, and you see all the like SE impersonate, SE debug, SE all the different security tokens or privileges you might have within Windows. He did something interesting. He says, for safety, it's password protected on a separate shell to prevent any remote code execution at the Trusted Installer level. Here's how I did it. I took the ntobjectmanager.dll, compressed it, and then converted its contents to base 64. Then I reversed the process at runtime, loading the DLL into memory so I can 64. The ntobjectmanager remote code execution at the Trusted Installer level. Here's how I did it. I took the ntobjectmanager.dll, compressed, loading the DLL into memory so I can use the raw. Then I reversed the process at runtime, loading the DLL into PowerShell memory so I can use the raw function called penetration testers and ethical hackers. I have a /priv, and you see all the like SE impersonate, SE debug. I guess see all the different security tokens or privileges you might have within Windows. He did something interesting. He says, for safety, it's password protected on a separate shell to prevent any remote code execution at the Trusted Installer level. Here's how I did it. I took the ntobjectmanager.dll, compressed it, and then converted its contents to base 64. Then I reverse the process at runtime, loading the DLL into memory so I can use the raw function calls from nt-object manager. He did this all in PowerShell and then compiled it into an executable with ps to exe, and you could do the very same, but he included a triage report for the .exe wrapper and then a zip archive for the source code. I'll include those links in the video description. All credit to Matthew. But this is the PowerShell source code. So simple trustedcmd.ps1, where there are command line arguments to bypass or force. Looks like it sets the title of the window to trustedcmd password lock, and he has a couple registry keys reference and even like a max number of attempts or lockout for the password protection. Then he includes a big long list of all the different SE privileges, or all the capability that this higher elevated command prompt in session should have. A lot of this is some boilerplate to be able to test if it is being used safely with the registry key that's been used to track all the operations in runtime, to use a password protection on this, which are just kind of nicety bells and whistles thing. If you wanted to turn this into an even more automated streamlined tooling, you could ignore those, cut those out. But if I turn word wrap off, then you can see, or on whichever one of those. Obviously, this is the giant base64 dump of ntobjectmanager.dll. I think this is actually very clever. We did this exact same thing when we were working with the print nightmare exploit years ago. I think that's like 2021. I don't even remember. But we crammed a whole DLL inside of a PowerShell script so that it could then be unraveled and loaded at runtime. Some commented code here that we could probably, again, cut out if we wanted to, but then he brings in some .NET or C# capability to add in a bunch of the different variables and boilerplate that's necessary to be able to spawn a process. Then it asks for a password, which we could skip over if we were to use that force and bypass command line switch. And then he starts to work through the things that were pertinent in that trusted installer video that will give you even higher privileges than NT Authority system. And truthfully, that's it.
Oh, shit.
PowerShell script that just gives you all that power. Once you have local admin, you can jump up to system and jump up to trusted installer. So let's play with it. Let's get back into our Windows 11 virtual.
So that's why it's called PowerShell. It gives you all the power and shelling it into third-party brokers.
Virtual machine. I'll open up the Windows PowerShell ISE editor just so I could slap in all of this code, and let's save this again on our desktop as that trusted cmd.ps1 PowerShell script. Now, let's try this in both cases. Let's open up a terminal and have that command line access even as a low privilege user. I doubt this will work, but it's worth trying. Can I run our trusted cmd.ps1, and I'll use the force and bypass switches. Now, this shouldn't work. Yeah, pretty bloody lot of different PowerShell errors. Obviously, can't handle 𝙂𝙬𝙬 because you need the permissions to be able to do that. Run as admin if you were modifying the registry, and I don't think it would even start or play with the trusted installer service because it doesn't have those permissions. So, was fun, but again, want to draw that point, want to make sure that's clear. Knowing that you need the administrator privileges is just part of the operations. Run trusted CMD, force, and bypass, and that should pop open a shell for us. Obviously, this is running as NT Authority system, but we are in, if I go take a look at the groups, the trusted installer group. And if I were to take a look at my privileges, we have all of the ones that were included in that sweet little streamlined script. So full control. That's pretty cool. You might have noticed while we were playing with that, though, that did start a new console window. So that might get in the way if you're trying to operate on, like, a command and control thing, Metasploit, Sliver, Cobalt Strike, whatever. You don't have to have this run cmd.exe. You could make it run serviceui.exe or anything else that you wanted to, or a payload that could get another connection, make another callback, anything there. So you don't require or need or have the necessity of that interactive graphical user interface GUI display. I honestly think this is pretty slick though. Like being able to take like from PowerShell code, just copy paste, slap it in there, and then you own the whole thing. That's kind of neat. Hey, thanks so much for watching everybody. Please do all those YouTube algorithm things, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.
All right. All right then, see here. Model is. All right. let me move over my stuff over. Here we go. Oh shit. There we go. Alright. Over. Alright, then I guess we well, I'm pretty satisfied with the progress so far for this art session. Let's see here. Where is it? Here it is. Alright. With that being said, chat, today was fun. I ended laughing a lot to all the jokes in that previous video. But regardless of everything, I'm pretty happy with the progress I made, the art piece so far. I guess in the next couple, or maybe like 4 art sessions, I'm gonna be doing the shading and whatnot. I used to do like art session like 6 hours at a time, and that burned me out pretty quick. So doing art sessions in 2 hours at a time, it's good. It helps me relax as well as reduce or mediate or basically reduce the risk of burnout. There we go. Alright, let's see here. But yeah, chat. I'm just gonna end it off here now. And that being said, I want to say thank you everyone for joining today's stream. My name is Brain Blitz. I'm a variety streamer. I stream a lot of video games, chat suggest me, as well as I stream art. I do programming. I stream programming practice sessions, and I'm not sure when I'm gonna be comfortable enough to stream 3D modeling, but I'm still going through the Blender lessons and just slowly but surely getting used to the AI, just slow learning how to do 3D modeling. And that being said, I'm pretty sure I'm just gonna spend the rest of the night just relaxing. I'll probably have a snack or two. That being said, I'm more than welcome. I welcome chat to like make some lore for this Gen 10 Ben 10 alternate Ben 10 AU or alternate universe thingamabob. That being said, I hope everyone had a fabulous day, evening, on your time zone. And make sure you eat, make sure you hydrate, make sure you use the bathroom, because I know you haven't used the bathroom in 6 hours. And also go shower, chat. I know you smell stinky. You smell stinky. Here. Sniff. Snip it. Snip it. Yeah, you smell bad. That being said, I gotta get going now, chat. All right. Stay safe, okay, my Blitzies? I love y'all. Bye bye, Matane.
Lost to the war, shot me dead. I was lost and I said to the voices in my head, I'm gonna